because as I said, it makes reading the chat very difficult. But I have it on for just the first bit, so technically the thumbnail's not a lie. Doing it on the mobile to see if it sends it to more people, because there is the weird thing, like I said, with YouTube, where when you stream on the mobile, it seems to push it to more people. Anyway, I'll take this off now. All right, random user. So I'll just take that off now because it's quite hard without my glasses on to read the chat, and obviously the red lenses make reading text very difficult. So not really a rare S10. Like I said, not wearing it for the whole stream. So the annoying thing with that mask, and hello to everyone coming on, Saint, is that, yeah, like I said, if I'm trying to read text with this on, it makes text quite hard to read. You can see it, but you'd get a lot more eye strain trying to read text like that than you would normally. Yeah, I prefer the, like, visually, yeah, I think the S10 looks cooler than the FM12. In terms of practicality, the FM12 for me is a better mask, just because the, I'll just zoom that in a bit, just because the FM12 is, like I said, a bit lighter weight, better straps, there's less dead space in the mask, so you basically get all the pros of the thing. Yeah, the neodymium thing I mentioned I'm going to do, but like I said, I have to wait for them to come first. I'm probably going to actually do one on each of the glasses little things, like, you know, one there, rather than doing it that way. There's a video coming out in a couple of days. I did try this and it worked. Just literally putting blue tack on some glasses and you can stick them into masks that way. That also works. There's a video on that, but what was I going to say? That's, like I said, I think magnets that are like cable tied to the glasses would work better than using blue tack, but blue tack does work. Yeah, 28 days later, yeah, the soldiers have it in that, don't they? Sort of at the cordon or whatever it is. So once I finish streaming tonight, I'm probably doing it more about 7:30, 8 p.m. I'm going to buzz all my haircut, hair off again, haircut myself, because of the fact that, what was I going to say? That, yeah, it's getting to the stage now where it's to the length it's annoying me. You know, certain masks, it gets caught in the straps for them. Yeah, oh, good. I'm glad you like it, though, Saint, because like I said, it's good if somebody gets something like that from me and they're glad, you know, they like it, rather than, oh, no, you said Gen 1 was good, I think it's crap, kind of thing. But, yeah, like I said, if you've never used night vision before, even Gen 1 Plus is really nice. It's just that, yeah, when you get, you know, more and more into night vision, obviously Gen 2 is better than the Gen 1 Plus, Gen 2 Plus is better than Gen 2, Gen 3, and so on. All right, Regif? But yeah, like I said, getting a proper IR torch means the batteries last longer in the pulsar, because the pulsar is going to drain the inbuilt batteries. Like the IR light on it or whatever, like only gives you about a third of the time. So apparently it's the IR light that uses way more battery power than the actual night vision itself does. And like I said, that way you can get one as well. Like I said, one of those ones that casts a much bigger IR flood, sort of, or you can have, you know, get the zoomable in flashlights, which I'd recommend. Because, yeah, saying that, even on my Gen 0 PMV 57As, I've got an IR torch just mounted to the top of the tanker's head thing, like an LED one, and even putting that on makes it quite good. Yeah, exactly. So, because that's the thing that I think I actually did this with that particular night vision Saint. I think at one point with the pulsar, I don't know if it was on a video, but I went out and I was quite amazed with, you know, if you get a good IR flashlight, just how far away you can light stuff up. Because again, it's like if you have a really strong flashlight that's visible to the human eye, like how far you can throw like a floodlight over a field, it's basically the same thing as with night vision. It's just nobody else can see the light. Except anybody with night vision goggles on or whatever. But yeah, like I said, the main thing of the pulsar is because it's Gen 1 Plus. Like I said, it's just that basically it obviously does amplify light, but the problem is it doesn't amplify light being a Gen 1 Plus to such a good degree as, like later night visions do. And like I said, with all types of night vision, you can't see in pitch black anyway. Thermal can see in pitch black. But even on a Gen 3 night vision unit, you can't see if it's completely pitch black. There still has to be light for it to amplify. All right, Espiel Packer? Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. I'm just doing a vertical one today. Oh, don't forget to like the stream, anybody that's watching. I'm just doing a vertical one today to make a difference, just to see if YouTube recommends them more. I know if I have a camera on, people get recommended them more. So even if I'm streaming a game, if I have like a webcam filming me in the corner, YouTube sends it out to more people. So I reckon it likes if there's a human face in the thumbnail or whatever. But I have a suspicion that YouTube still sends out these vertical phone ones more than if I do it on a proper camera. So like I said, this is why it's stupid, because if I get this and use this as a inbuilt webcam, not inbuilt webcam, but if I connect this to my PC via the wire and say I want to use this as my webcam for streaming, I think less people are told about it, even though it's a much better microphone, and it's a 4K camera, even that's to stream in 1080 for YouTube, than this. But the problem is YouTube's like, oh no, you're not using our app, so therefore... Yeah, I don't know how... I know in theory, Mondiani, there is a way with YouTube you can do the dual streaming thing, where you stream in both vertical and horizontal, and therefore people can see it as both. But the problem is, when I've looked into it, it's a bit of a ball ache to set up. And after the video, I think it makes 2 separate videos of it, so it will split the views that way. All right, cool, yeah. Like I said, I've played around with a lot of night vision units anyway, so I'm all familiar with all the various gens of it. It's still active night vision, Saint. It is passive night vision. It's just Gen 1 Plus is nowhere near as passive as like PVS 14. Gen 1 onwards is passive night vision. Active means you have to have the IR light on. Yeah, he does it through StreamYard, it makes 2. And then you get the annoying thing where sometimes you can't see certain people's comments if they're commenting on one version of it, not the other. So like with Mike, you always have to go on the the proper one, like shaped like that. Because if you go on the vertical one, you can't see the comments from people on the horizontal one, or vice versa. So sometimes you can't reply to somebody. If somebody's saying something, you can hear Mike read it out, but you can't see him coming up in your comments. This is annoying Brown Street. But yeah, like I said, so even a Gen 1 night vision is technically passive, Saint, if you're not using it with an IR light. But yeah, all what was I going to say? But yeah, obviously, as the gens go up, the passive ability gets better of them. But like I said, in theory, any night vision can be used in an active sense, as in with the IR flashlights on. Because even Gen 3s have the little inbuilt IR flashlight if you want to use it for a pitch black environment. But yeah, it's just obviously things like the Pulsar being a Gen 1 Plus. It's passive in the sense that if you go out and it's really dark, but not pitch black, you can still see more with something like the Pulsar than you'd see with your eye. Like, say, it's very, very dim lighting, stuff like that. But yeah, it's you get more out of the Pulsar, I say, using it as an active unit, if that makes sense, yeah. Because like I said, that's where I think you probably almost need to get to Gen 2 Plus, to the point where, you can use it passively for most things. Well, it depends who you're fighting, because again, lots of Russian soldiers don't have night vision. But again, in drone warfare anyway, you'd just be killed by a drone regardless of having night vision or not. Even if it's completely passive, your night vision, you're still going to have the problem of a thermal drone or whatever seeing you in the dark and just slamming into you. So again, I think we've got to that situation now where, again, it's lots of infantry stuff has just changed forever until there's a proper counter-drone stuff done. You do know, though, again, any mobile phone basically can see night vision. So with the advent of everybody having a smartphone, basically they can see if you're using an IR laser or an IR torch with a smartphone. Now, annoyingly, the front-facing camera can't really show it on mine, but basically, if you can test this yourself, so some phones like mine also have a night vision mode where they do see proper infrared. But on a lot of phones, even if you get like an IR, like an infrared remote, you can actually see it flashing, and you can still see IR lasers on them to some degree, and you can see IR flashlights a lot better than you can with your eye. So yeah, exactly. So this is the thing in Modern Warfare, actually spotting somebody with night vision, literally a goat farmer that has a smartphone can do it. Yeah, exactly that, Aspiel Packer. Yeah, again, like I say, so with, again, this one, like I said, the front-facing camera on this is actually pretty good at hiding IR. Yeah. In that, or the Russian guys with the Bachanka covered in mirrors. But yeah, so, like with this, obviously, this is, again, like I said, this is digital, but it's essentially the equivalent of Gen 3. It's definitely better than Gen 2 Plus. This is, if you've seen the videos where people like Hype have compared these to PVS 14s, some things these do better than PVS 14s, some things PVS 14 does better than this. But I'd say it's essentially Gen 3, this night vision. So if I put the IR light on full, is that on? Again, this is actually quite a good unit at not being able to see the IR light. But do you reckon that's on or not? Hang on. Yeah, it says the light's on. Again, it's probably because that is actually quite a good hidden IR thing in there that you can't see it very well. You might, oh yeah, you can just about see a little purple glow, can't you, coming off of that? But like I said, if I put that light off, then there's that little purple bit completely disappeared. Yeah, it has. But yeah, anyway, so what was I saying? So yeah, but regardless, like what was I going to say with that? Like it's the thing like with this, where we were showing it the other day with the PEQ15 type ones, where again, to my eye, and again, I don't really want to look directly into a laser, there's a very, very dull red thing there. And even where I said like this, see that? Like that does see IR, because when that hit the sensor just then, you got the purple thing, if I can get that lined up again, wherever it goes. Can't actually line it up with the phone sensor now. But like I said, this actually, the front-facing camera on this phone has got a pretty good IR filter on it. I think just more so you don't keep seeing random like light blips in selfie videos. I've got that on, haven't I? Yeah. Why can't I line that up with the phone sensor again? Did it fine just now? Is it the bottom one or the top one? It's the top one. Okay. Can't line it up now. It's annoying me now. It flashed briefly, and now I'm trying to actually line it up again, and I can't do it. Oh well. Yeah, exactly. Saying, like I said, especially if it's one of those repeater crossbows where you've got the magazine, so you don't have to keep fumbling a bolt in every time with an IR laser and night vision. Yeah. Again, I'm just going to see if I can get that angle, because it's annoying me that I can normally do that fine, and that's not doing it now. There we go. So yeah, you see the IR light there. Don't want to damage the sensor, but yeah, like I said, it's one of those things where, like I said, if I use my phone's rear camera, I have got one where you can actually, in one of the options, there's a night vision mode on the phone, which isn't very good night vision, but what it does let you do is turn off the filter completely, for IR lights. And that way, you know, you can see a lot more light with it because of the fact that anything that gives off infrareds, like I said, if somebody had an infrared torch or whatever, it's really, really obvious. But annoyingly, I can't show that while I'm streaming because there's no way of saying I want to use that camera while streaming. Yeah, I think, though, Kevin, he'll probably just want one of these cheap Chinesian ones like me. Because, again, if he's only wanting to mount it on a crossbow or whatever, you don't really need something massively recoil hardened and whatever else. So what I did do earlier is I did get with the SUSAT sight. I did fuck about with that, adjusting, and it's quite hard to do because you almost need needle nose pliers to slightly. I had to slightly loosen the like, you know, the lens your eye looks into, so not the objective lens, whatever the lens is that's, you know, on your eye side. A bit like with night vision, you know, you can focus it for your eye. I had to do that, and basically now I've got that SUSAT sight actually good to the point that it's more usable, in the sense that, you know, like if I look down it at about, say, 20 meters plus, both the reticle is in focus and, you know, I can read numbers and writing on stuff, because before I couldn't get it right with my eye relief, where it was, you know, like I could either see the sight or I could see the thing and then the sight would blur. Yeah, again, that's the thing, Saint. I can't show you a comment because YouTube being YouTube. But yeah, like I said, if you're not shooting it with a proper gun, you just want it for pissing about with. The Chinesium, like red dots and that, are fine. Companies like Hollow's Sun and that are doing better and better stuff now. I was speaking, I did put a battery in this Chinese red dot as well. I've got a video coming out in a couple of days as well where I just demonstrated different scopes of the night vision to show people what I meant about how you can't look through certain scopes, you know, and things like that with night vision, because of the fact that, you know, they're either too bright or too blurry or whatever. But yeah, there's that one, and you can put the brightness up and down on this. So obviously for my eye, I like this on the brightest setting possible, which is basically that. But if I was using it with a night vision, I found I actually want it to about like that, because when a night vision amplifies it, otherwise it becomes too blurry and bright. Yeah, if you look at it the other way round, let me just turn the brightness up again. So that's the way you look through it. Yeah, this way. You can actually see on that way, look, where it's shining the light onto the thing to project it backwards. Like, you know, where obviously it's hitting like the mirrored bit of the other bit of the lens. And obviously when you adjust the zeroing, it's that bit that goes, you know, aims slightly. So anyway, let's turn that back off. Push both buttons at once. Which one's an ARD? Hang on. Adjustable red dot bow sight. Again, that would only be for a regular bow, though, wouldn't it? Not a crossbow. Because, like I said, with crossbows, although you need proper scopes that are for low velocity arrows, with crossbows in general, with red dots, you can put a normal red dot on, it'll work fine. Because as long as it's one you can zero the dot enough, it doesn't matter. Oh, anti-reflective device. Oh, what is that? Just to go on the other end so you can't see the thing? But it doesn't bother me. I'm not using it for anything tactical in reality. So, well, Aimpoint tried to sue them because they were doing Chinese copies of Aimpoint, and they were probably selling better on the market because they were cheap. Yeah, like I said, there are those things you can do with airsoft now, isn't there, that people have pointed out? Like, there's some sites that accept the cosplay thing, so you can just literally dress up in some camo or something, get somebody to take a picture of you, say you're a cosplayer, and then they'll give you an equivalent of UCARA that a load of sites accept. Like I said, I don't have enough spare money to bother doing that and getting like realistic airsoft guns, because I'm broke as shit at the moment. But, you know, it's one of those things where I could certainly see people doing it, you know, as a much easier way than having to keep going to airsoft sites to get the UCARA. You'd have to have quite thick aluminium, wouldn't you, to make good body armor, unless you just mean as an anti-stab thing. But anyway, all right, Robo Gorilla Man, and all right, Rich. Let's see with that Susac copy I've got if I can show you what I mean there with Now I think the problem is in this room is that it's still going to be yeah, I did put the rubber eye cut back on. But yeah, you can see there, look, that you can actually see the writing clearly through it now, and you can see the line. So like I said, I think it was a case with this one that whoever put it together in the factory hadn't like set the distance properly, or it was somebody that didn't had bad eyesight, wasn't wearing glasses, and just did it correct for their eye, which was off anti-stabbing against buttons. Yeah, it should work fine for that. Yeah, like I said, in a lot of countries, the riot police now just like kicking the shit out of people, even if it's for no reason. And like I said, this one, because it has batteries that go in it, because it's not a proper Susat, it's a knockoff one. The battery bit's working in there now. Yeah, we Chinese, we don't care about copying anything. That would be all right. Newspaper might be all right against battens, Saint, but I don't think if somebody was to stab you, I'd want newspaper. And again, I know Mike's done the videos where if you put enough magazines together, it would work. But, you know, I think if somebody's building their own sort of thing, if they can't just buy an off-the-shelf anti-stab vest, you know, aluminium's probably better than, what do you call it? You know, newspaper for that. But yeah, so like I said, at least with this one now, I can actually read stuff through it. So, yeah, like I said, not where the screen is. That's never going to be in focus because it's just too close to my face. But if I'm reading something like the poster over there, both the reticle and the thing are in focus, especially if you go about 20 meters plus, and it's perfect. All right, so yeah, foam under the aluminium. Yeah, that should work quite well. As I said, it's, what do you call it? Like I said, I wouldn't recommend that against any ballistic threats, but yeah, against maybe rubber bullets, you know, beanbag rounds, batons and knives and whatever, that should work all right. Foam and sort of a bit of aluminium wrapped around it or whatever. So yeah, like I said, later on I'm going to shave all my hair off. Yeah, so the only thing with this one that obviously is different than the real Susat is kind of like a metal post in it, then with the tritium bit in it. In this one, although you can put it green a bit like if tritium, this one is just like a battery in it, you know, and you can have low or bright, red or green. So I find dim red is actually probably the best one if you want to see it with your eye, but not, you know, not have it be distracting. No, they've already started moving away from Susats, Saint. The Susat was being replaced by Tri-Joule ACOGs for quite a while. So yeah, like, because again, the problem with Susats is to put them on a standard, like, 20mm rail or whatever it is. You need to have, like, one of these weird adapter things for it. Because the Susats were originally designed to just sit on the top of the L85. So yeah, Susats, I think, are completely, like, obsolete scopes now. Let me just check that Susat scope, but I'm pretty certain. It's actually saying. It doesn't say on here, the Wikipedia thing isn't very good on it, other than it saying that the tritium, you know, has to be replaced every 8 to 12 years. It says, apparently as of March 2025, it was still in use in much of the UK armed forces, primarily reserve rear echelon for training, used due to budgetary constraints. Oh, there you go. So it's the fact we're not meant to have them anymore, but the British Army is so poor they can't get rid of Susat. like I said, I prefer Susat to ACOG, but I can understand that ACOG is just a better scope. Like I said, I just like things like this because of how retro they are. Yeah, it's exactly that, Saint. It's because these work well enough for what they are, combined with the fact it doesn't really cost anything to keep them in service. So you've got that problem with them that, you know, to replace them, they need to spend loads of money, and they can't afford to spend loads of money. Like Blue Monster, all right, Dust as well. But yeah, so like I said, again, I like Susats because, again, you've got the backup little iron sight on the top, which you hopefully can just see there. I'm probably blocking you from seeing the front post there, aren't I? Yeah, it's quite hard to show that properly. You've got the, like I said, the backup iron sight there, which is just like a very, very primitive little peep sight. And then you've got, obviously, the... Yeah. Well, again, they also spend £600 million per year now, don't they, giving it to the French to stop the asylum seekers. Oh, wait, the French don't do anything. So they go, oh, we will tell them that they are not meant to be living across the border in a boat. We will tell them that we will not stop them. So, yeah, it's, like I said, I know ACOG was one of the scopes you see British soldiers with, like more frontline ones. And there might be other brands of scope as well that they were buying. But like I said, the thing is with Susats is, like I said, it's kind of, they were very good for the 1980s because, again, the joke was with the L85, wasn't it? The only good part about it's the scope. And even though the funny thing is with Susats, though, when I looked them up earlier, the Trilux suit scope, which is the one that predates the Susat, is actually better in terms of eye relief and everything. So the one that came before this guy was actually a better scope for better eye relief that, you know, was more user friendly. But yeah, but like I said, I think obviously because we could build them at one point quite cheaply, that's why they're still in service, because they made enough of them that, you know, you can't, if you can't really afford to replace everybody's scope at once, you just keep those things, you know, like just for every backup unit has those. And then, you know, only actual like Marines or whatever probably get, Marines and Paras are probably the only one getting good optics. But yeah, so like I said, shaving my hair off later, so that's what I'm doing this evening. Just because it's getting to the stage where, like I said, it's like you can see the scalp there. It's even if I wash it daily, it's like you still get dead skin up there. Horrible. So I'll shave myself bald again and be able to moisturize my scalp properly. We're past the worst of the hot weather now, but I still... The thing is, I don't even mind having short hair in the winter because I can just wear a like furry cap. Doesn't really bother me. 2 cigarettes from the 80s. That's kind of cool. But like I said, I've had some weird shit in army surplus before. Nothing like cool like cartridges or anything like that. You know, like spicy stuff like that, if you like. I had some like military ration heaters in one that were just left in the pocket. I've had bits of cigarettes in the pocket before. You know, as in the sense of what do you call it? Like, you know, like where somebody had left a cigarette in there for years and they completely disintegrated. And they were quite hard to get all out of the pockets, so they ended up like pocket lint, but like little bits of cigarettes. You could tell that's what they were. Yeah, that's why, say, like I said, I just buy clippers and I just do it myself every couple of months. Doesn't really cost you anything. I know in theory it costs you a bit of money to charge up the clippers or whatever, but compared to going and paying for a haircut. Yeah, like I said, it's the funny thing though is ulcerative colitis goes very much with the eczema as well. Like I said, so it's eczema on my skin like that, but like I said, apparently it's like if you have eczema, you're more likely to have ulcerative colitis and vice versa. Because it's like, you know, just in that weird list of your immune system hates you and fucks everything up for no reason. So like I said, with me, it's like I also have the weird thing where there's, like where people are like, oh, just use certain brand shampoos and you'd never have dandruff or whatever. It's like certain shampoos that are meant to be good for dandruff make my eczema worse because they inflame the skin. Yeah, I'm surprised that they were still all right if they're like that old. But, you know, whatever. But yeah, so like I said, shave all my hair off again later. Yeah, IBD is like IBS but worse. Not really. Like I said, I've tried steroid creams and stuff before, Kevin. Right, Anomaly Glitch. Again, it's one of those things where when my hair is shaved off and I can put a bit of moisturizer on it, eczema is totally under control. As soon as I get a bit of hair length, start getting the eczema badly. So like I said, it's just one of those things where, you know, it's easier for me to just do the thing of shave my hair off, put a bit of moisturizer on my scalp, do that. And like I said, also it's because where you start getting as you get older, a bit more the widow's peak thing, whatever you call it. Well, not widow's peak, that's like the bald circle, isn't it? But the receding hairline sort of thing, where again, you get that shape, which I don't like as I'm getting older, where it sort of is going both ways like that. Some of the stuff I've had, Blue Ronsters had people's like blood type and that written on it in felt tip pen and stuff like that. But yeah, so like I said, what I normally do, put a podcast on that's like an hour long so I don't have to touch my phone if I get hair on my hands while I'm doing it. How I do it now, because it tends to work pretty well, the conditioners and that I find that work the best for me are like the natural, like coconut oily type ones. So not just putting coconut oil on my skin. I know you can use that as a moisturizer, but like ones made with that. But like I said, I found with like Nizzerol and even some of the ones that are meant to be really good for dandruff, quite often they just make my skin come up in a rash. I've tried coal tar before. That worked surprisingly well, but you know, wasn't perfect. But like I said, when my hair's short, it's never a problem. I just literally just use clean water, you know, and a bit of moisturizer now and then, and it's not an issue. It's only once my hair starts getting longer that, like, you know, like I said, certain shampoos just irritate the skin, or like conditioners and whatever. You know, if I don't wash with conditioner, then I just get like, you know, my hair will start smelling oily and whatever. But like I said, it's not a massive issue because I haven't got too much of a rash there since I shaved yesterday. So that's all right. But sometimes, like I said, sometimes I start getting rashes there. But like when we had the really hot, bad weather recently, I was getting like rash there and there because of how fucking humid it was and sweaty. I was just getting like, you know, where my own sweat was just giving the eczema. But anyway, should we stop talking about body horror? So like what I was going to say is I normally just put like an hour-long history podcast or whatever I want to listen to. I normally go first over with like clippers with no guard on to get as much hair off as possible. And then to make it look a bit more uniform, I then use like, you know, like a beard shaving stuff, not beard shaving, like, you know, like the ones for not, because like beard clippers, when you have like, so, you know, when you have a shaver, like you have the tri-shavers, whatever they call them, the ones that you use for the flat hairs, not the beard trimmer bits, because the beard trimmer bit is essentially the same thing as hair clippers. Yeah, I don't know, Kevin, because again, last time I saw the doctors about dermatology stuff, they were going, "Oh, we don't like prescribing steroid things anymore because so many people can't take them as instructed that it makes their stuff worse. So now nobody can have them." And I was like, "Oh, great," because I've had that with a few things, and I've been to the doctors where they've been useless in terms of, you know, like, again, it depends what doctor you see. But, you know, where some of them are essentially like, oh, because people don't know how to take antibiotics or whatever. I don't know why the doctor's Keir Starmer, but that would make sense. But because some people can't finish the course of antibiotics and it gets worse, I just think you should have nothing. Just fuck off. See, that's the weird thing in Omni Glitch, isn't it? With some people, like, can sometimes be opposite way around for certain people. Like for me, I'd say hotter water normally upsets my skin more than colder water, but you know. But yeah, like I said, when I was younger, I used to have this weird, I'm gonna actually look up on ChatGPT what it's called. I remember when I was a child, for eczema, which is like ECZEMA, isn't it? Eczema. Yep, that's actually how you spell it. My doctor prescribed some sort of blue bath liquid. What is this? Because I don't know if that's a prescription only thing or not, but it was like made the water literally go like solid blue. I've never seen that stuff. Like, you can get the oil stuff to go in the water, but I actually want to know what this like blue liquid is. Yes, Saint. I am going to have to inspect your back door. There will be a bit of damage happening to it, and I will not pay you for it. Oh, it's chat. It's saying, did it come in a blue bottle? I was like, no, I'm literally telling you. It was most likely oilatum bath additive. But no, it's not normal oilatum, because that is literally just oily stuff. No, I've literally told it it's not a blue container. It makes the liquid go blue, and it's talking about blue containers. Fucking clankers. It's like they want to kill us in one thing, and then they also can't understand. No, it made the liquid go blue. Oh, you're talking about blue bottle. No. Let's have a look. Selsun Blue Shampoo. Again, that's like a bottle, but what colour does the actual stuff look inside? But I don't think we get that brand over here. They probably sell it under a different brand name. But yeah, let's see if the Clanker bot can figure out. We are on about when I was a kid for eczema. The doctors prescribed me. I'm assuming it was the doctors that prescribed, and it wasn't my mum bought it just from a chemist, like over the counter. Some things that you put it in the bath liquid, and the bath literally went like blueberry blue. Like, it looked like some sort of blue sludge. And like, yeah, that literally, like I said, that used to be a really good thing for my eczema when it was really bad when I was a kid. But I've been trying to, like, there's been a few things like this, and they've really annoyed me, like where, and it's not Mandela effect or fake memories, but you can remember stuff from when you're a kid. And like you Google it and nobody can tell you what it is. And like you can ask the AIs and the AIs are like, no, stupid flesh bag, your memory is mistaken. This sounds likely to have been Savlon Blue antiseptic liquid. It was a genuinely blue concentrated liquid that could be prescribed or supplied for adding to bath water. It contained chlorhexidine or ceraminide or something. It was sometimes used when eczema was scratched, weeping, or vulnerable to bacterial infections. Old instructions specifically adding 5 capfuls to the bath and history. Let me search it and see if it shows a picture of like fucking bright blue, like it almost looks like toxic. I just want to see pictures of it in use. I mean, I don't not like necessarily like some old crusty person in a bath wearing it. I just want to see if this stuff actually is like the bright blue liquid I remember. But Superdrug sell it, although it's not currently in stock. Although you can order it in to collect in stock. So this is a blue liquid looking at it. I think it's like a see-through plastic thing with a blue liquid. It's $2.99. I should buy some for nostalgia's sake. Yeah, so add 2 capfuls of liquid to half a litre of water. For bathing, add 5 capsules to bath water. So you can dilute it for use for applying to an area indirectly, or you can put it in the thing. But does it make the bath water go blue? Right. See, I want to see a picture of this actually being in use. There's also one with like a sexy nurse on the picture for another brand. Like, it's like literally blue Listerine color, this stuff. Like, make your bath look like blue Listerine. But again, it's just nostalgia stuff. Because it's around the time I had chicken pox as well. I think they prescribed that. Anyway, I'll go back to your comments properly. Sorry. Yeah, find out that Mondani says, yeah, it had mercury or lead in it, and it's not been used for 20 years. Oh, it was blue because it was Cherenkov radiation when they put that radioactive shit in the bath. The water went blue. Ah, this is good for my skin. And Ibuki Enjoy says, my girlfriend has really bad eczema on her hands. I think the doctor said she has 2 different types. Yeah, I know there is different types of eczema. No, they only work one way round, Saint. The light can't travel through it that way, as far as I'm aware, because of the phosphor screen in it. So it works like... Hang on, let me get you a picture of how a CRT television works. I'm just looking for like the cutaway diagram of a CRT TV. Okay, so this is basically how your night vision works. But yeah, so see with that, what's basically happening is the fluorescent screen is the bit your eye sees. The bit where the light can damage it is from the opposite end of it, because that's where the light is intaked and then amplified. So yeah, light hitting the bit you look through like that with your eye, with night vision, that's not going to damage it at all. That's why there's not a pinhole cover for the rear bit. With analog night vision, it's literally only it's like the aiming end of it, if you like. That's the only end you can damage. So yeah, you don't have to worry about light traveling through it. Like if you had it, so like say with this pulsar, like I said, it doesn't matter with the pulsar. I've still got it running, but like I said, because this isn't an analog night vision unit. So with this, if it was a traditional night vision unit, this is the end that you'd damage by looking at the light. But say you had that covered and you had this exposed to the light like that, that's not a problem. Because like I said, it's like a one-directional tube. No, exactly. It's only, like I said, the only thing is you want to make... The main thing I'd say with yours is, like I said, because Gen 1 night vision doesn't actually turn off instantly, you just want to be careful that you don't flick it off and then flick the lights on in a room or something with the protective cap off of it. Because like I said, that's the weird thing with Gen 1s, is that they actually work for a while once you flick them off. So yeah, like I said, that's just a weird thing I find with Gen 1 night vision, though. That whole shit of like, oh yeah, it actually runs for a while even when you're not using it. Again, I wish I could find where my Cyclops was. So I don't think it was that long ago I came across my Cyclops. And I'm not on about my... Oh, is that it there? Well, what we have here, it's my Cyclops. So that's it with the nice lens on it. Now, does this have batteries in, or did I take them out? Oh, yeah, there's batteries in there. Right. I'm going to put it down this way. Then I'll flick the ceiling light off before we play with it. But this won't be as good as your pulsar scene. But it is a Soviet Gen 1 tube in there. Random, my favourite camo. I really like most of the Flecton variants, like Finnish MO5 and like Russian SS Lito. Probably like, yeah, Flectani looking camos. Yeah, I know, that's happened before. Tripping over a surplus pump. Right, so first let's test it with this level of light. Let me just focus it on something, see how well it's working. Oh yeah, I can see this is fucking Gen 1. Because I can't see shit. If it's still working. Or is it not working now? Is it just... did the last bit of the batteries die? Hang on. I don't want to look at anything too bright. I think, fuck's sake, I think with this, the last little bit of the batteries have just died that were in there. Right, what batteries does this take? Again, I shouldn't have stored it with batteries in anyway. Oh, it takes a 9 volt. Okay, right. I'm just going to go and get another 9 volt for this. That is a rechargeable 9 volt in there. Right, back in a minute. Oh, there they all are. Great. So that was typical. I just spent ages looking for where I put all my 9 volt batteries. Came back in the room. They were all right by the door. Right. Okay. Yeah, they all do. It's because of it's because of the massive high voltage transformers in them. Right. So let's connect up this Bakelite little electrical panel to the battery. Hopefully this one does have a charge in it. I think all these were fully charged when I last, put them on the side. All right, that's definitely working now. Right, let's flick this light off. Right, okay, so let me just focus this. Okay, so that's about the focus right for that bit. And it's going to be different for when it's in front of the camera. So yeah, here we go. Gen 1 night vision. Can you let me click play on here sort of live so I can see if what it looks like, because again I can't really see through the little phone thing when I'm doing this. Hello. Again, the objective lens might be totally wrong there for that distance. Let me just check that the phone screen isn't so bright I'm worried about looking at it. There's not a cap on there, is there? Where's the focus bit? Or is it because the focus is just literally can't focus that close? Yeah, we was Sam Fisher and shit. Right, let's try again. Am I visible on here? See, I can see the gas mask on the wall better than I can with my eye with this. But the problem is with this is I don't know, like I said, is sort of the focus is which is the focus for closer to you, which is the focus for further away. Again, this lets quite a lot of light for this one. Can we see anything in the background without it reflecting text? Oh, we can see the hose for the gas mask. Look, we can see the hose for the gas mask. Yeah, I focused both bits. And again, the moment you take your finger off of this, it starts powering down because it's one of those Gen 1 ones where you have to hold the button continuously. So that is completely focused for at least that distance. Like I said, where I'm, again, the eyepiece here, that's good for my eye. Like I said, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be good for this distance for this camera. Oh, that looks a bit better. It looks like we see something there. Right, let me sit my face in front of it again and see if we can see anything. Bear in mind, I'm closer to the phone than I think my skin is too reflective. Let's turn the TV off as well and plunge the room into more darkness. Now I can't see at all what's going on. So that's looking at my face there. Tell you what, so I can maybe see a bit of the screen. Let's put that on there, do that, and then I'll wave my hand back and forth in front of it. Which is, again, part of the problem is this is a lot of the stuff is reflecting back off, like a lot of the light from the phone. Yeah, like I said, Cyclopses are sort of interesting because they're, like I said, these are the ones where people generally bought these to get the camera lenses off, didn't they? I'm just seeing if there was different focal. Oh, there's actually different. Oh wait, there's a different focus setting there. Okay, I'm sure it's that ISO. I can't remember what that feature does, but how did I adjust that again? Again, stupid old East German camera lens or whatever it is. I'm just going to take the East German camera lens off a minute just to fuck about with. Okay, so there's an East German camera lens with some. What's that? Oh, just some like dead skin or something on it. Right, the not the pulsar. The thing is facing downwards, so I'm not worried about its tube at the moment. Right, let me first find a cleaning cloth because I did have one on the glasses cleaning cloth. I did have one on the desk. Right, I'll use my shirt because I can't find it. Yeah, that looks more like the blems on there, like not blems, but you know where that's been put down on something it shouldn't have been put down on. Yeah, I mean that's horribly out of focus, but the lens is yeah, so what does this thing do? Anyway, let's just now anyway, just so you can see that there is actually a lens there. Like I said, there's some dirt on it. See, you can actually see through the lens there, look. And that's like a magnifying glass now when I have it round the other way. So yeah, with the other way round, that was actually like a magnifying glass. You see, without that, you just can't see anything with the night vision because it's just like a green blur. You can see the difference in light with it, but not without like I said. So if I just did, let me flick that light off again there. So like I said, if I do this here, look, you're just not going to see anything through that. It's very bright, but you're not going to see much because of the fact that there's not a lens on it. So like I said, I need to give this a clean at some point. But like I said, these are interesting Cyclops because what ended up happening with them, at one point these were dirt cheap because what happened was basically people bought these to take the lens off that came with the night vision, like photographers, and then they resold night vision quite cheaply. So yeah, Cyclopses were weird like that. That it was one of those units that, you know, like I said, where people would actually buy up the night vision for the photography lens, then resell the night vision dirt cheap at one point because of the fact that so that's the other lens anyway for this. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, like I said, so Cyclopses are interesting, but yeah, the Pulsar you bought off me, Saint, is definitely better than this thing. Like I said, if you put a really big light gathering lens on this might actually be fairly competent, this night vision unit. But like I said, the problem is that it's like some old commie block style lens, so good luck finding lots of good lenses for it, sort of thing. Like I said, what I'll do after this stream is give this lens a good clean, because like I said, you can see that there's some dirt in the lens. But yeah, it's weird on the camera how that looks surprisingly not bad, that lens. Other than the dirt on it, but I mean, it's not actually like all fucked up. There we go. Yeah, with the Pulsar, like I said, apparently I think I read it was a 20mm screw thing. Like Pulsar did replacement lenses for them, but I don't know with your Pulsar if it's like a lens that, you know, is a standard screw thread one. So like I said, with the NNVT one I've got that Hype built for me in whatever casing he built it from, you can literally swap the lenses out on it, the objective lens. But with the Pulsar, like I said, while apparently when I did Google it, Pulsar did sell like various lenses. I don't know, like I said, if they were a weird thing that was like sized just for their night vision. You know, that again, you could probably get an adapter for it, but it's one of those things where don't talk about stuff like that, Robo Gorilla Man. YouTube won't like talking about thermite. But speaking of stuff like that, this isn't a thorium lens either. Actually, I haven't ever checked this lens, I don't think. Let's check it, see if it's thorium. I very much doubt it, because it's not a particularly good quality lens. No, not a thorium lens. Boring lens, not thorium. Yeah, definitely not thorium. Now and again it ticks slightly faster, but that's just where the background region isn't a completely solid number. Oh, thank you very much, Ibuki Enjoyer. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, cheers. Let me click the heart thing and the like. Thank you very much. I am very appreciative of that, because I am Paul's and YouTube is my only income. Well, it's not my only income, but like I said, I haven't got a proper fucking job at the moment. And every time I look at the job market, should we do that for a laugh in a minute? Have a look at the job market. I bet it's horrifying. I bet it is fucking horrifying, the job market at the moment. Let's have a look. Because like I said, even my mum was like recently, she's like, I'm going to look and I'll find you a job. And then she gave up. Right. Again, I don't know which of these sites are particularly good. Hourly care assistant for English literature student. Oh, right, that's probably for disabled people. Sorry, I was like, why would a fucking assistant person need somebody looking after them? But no, it's probably, to be fair, that is probably like an actual thing for properly disabled kids. So I'm not going to take the piss out of that. Managers, so you need however many years of experience in being a manager in a retail store to get that job. So again, jobs that are just like they're English in the title, but the job doesn't make any sense. It's just like words jumbled together. Thames Water Engineering Project Manager. This role seeks a self-motivated candidate to manage engineering projects end to end. So does that mean I just make water spray everywhere and not be delivered to people's houses? Because that's what Thames Water do. Molecular plant biology. I don't think I'm qualified for that, whatever that is. But yeah, there's not anything for like cleaning a warehouse. There's ones that look like they are, and then when you read the things, and ones that aren't even in my postcode, that are like 70 miles away, even though I've said, nearest first. Wow, Northampton, that's in Oxfordshire, isn't it? Wow. And Dunstable, that's in Oxfordshire. Yeah, there's lots going up here that aren't fucking anywhere close to me, but it's like, look, you ask for jobs in your area. How does commuting 50 miles a day sound? Again, the Thames Water warehouse operative one that required you to take your own van to work, like buy a van and take it to work, even though you're meant to be working in a warehouse. It blatantly means they expect you to be transporting stuff in your own van. Yeah, Thames Water PM. Redesign the pipe? Why would I? If it's spraying water, it's still working. Yeah, Robot. So is your job market over in Germany fucked like ours in the UK? Because like I said, the problem with the UK job market is, don't get me wrong, there are some areas in the UK you can probably go from job to job quite easily. But the big problem with a lot of the UK stuff I've found since I've actually been looking for work is that they're almost like scam jobs, or they're not real jobs, where like, you're reading the description and you're like, this isn't actually a job. So you have to have loads of however many years of experience plus whatever else. What you mean nationalizing, not publicizing? Do you mean saying nationalizing? I think you mean. But yeah, so like half the problem with a lot of the jobs in the UK when you have a look is that like you're like, I should. Is there just a McDonald's job? No, like and stuff like that. So you're like, okay, so there's just more skilled people. And then you get the problem of you have to done however many years in a certain field to get an entry-level position. And I know this is a problem in lots of places. So basically, nobody can get into an entry-level job because, even though this should be like, we're paying minimum wage and, like, it's not a glamorous job. We expect you to have done this sort of job for 10 years for this entry-level job. So people that have those skills don't apply for it, because they can get paid better work elsewhere. People that are like, okay, I'm up for learning this trade or whatever. Oh no, sorry, because you're fuck you. You're not. You haven't had 10 years doing this job. So yeah, you get that sort of thing. And then, like I said, then you'll get also all the jobs where like they're paying minimum wage or whatever. And then when you're reading the description, you're like, this is technically a very skilled job that should, you should be getting paid loads of money for. Yeah, you need experience to get experience, yeah. And the thing is, I know people, like I say, because some of my friends that went to uni had this problem. They would do a degree that was basically 90-something% of what the job wanted. Then they'd apply for the job because they did like a sister course of the thing they were asking for. And the company was like, no, because you didn't do the exact course we specified. So my friends were saying, like, out of the uni that year, maybe 3 people did that course, you know, like where most people did the mainstream bit of it, and then you had like technical add-ons. So they're saying that, you know, like we've done nearly all of the stuff that would be required, but they're like, what comment gets hidden? Oh, abysmally poor water quality where you live. Oh, did you test it with your water thing? But yeah, like I said, it's so you get this problem of even people that have paid for educational stuff like university have gone through most of the stuff that's wanted. These companies will still then say when they try and apply for a job, oh, you didn't tick 100, you know, you tick 99 of 100 of our boxes. Now you're not getting the job. No, I don't think it did, Saint. Oh, let me go to live chat because it's changed it to top chat again, which is pointless because it means I can't see your messages. No, your other comment didn't come through. You said about Andy Bumham nationalising stuff, and then you said yes, lol, and then your other comments didn't come through, so YouTube hit it. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I said, that's the thing I've noticed on a lot of things as well, or jobs where they want you to do an unpaid period free. So they can basically, from what I understand, it's so they can just keep saying, "Oh, we're not going to take you on off until you know the unpaid period's finished," and they don't take that person on, and they get another person for an unpaid period. So they basically get slave labor. I don't know. Architecture. I mean, make it shitty. Can you inshitify it? Because you know, it's like, have they enshittified architecture yet, with like houses that fall down? Oh, that's pretty cool. But like I said, yeah, sadly, where I am, there's one factory, like proper factory, in a fairly big radius where I am. That's it. Like I said, because most of all these places are closed down. Oh yes, Saint was saying, don't forget, a lot of big companies discriminate against white people because multiculturalism comes first. Also, archaeology. Oh, sorry, like Indiana Jones, you mean? Yeah, sorry. I thought for some reason I read that as like an architect. I don't know why. Maybe I was thinking of the Pierce Brosnan meme. So yeah, so archaeology, yeah. So digging up bones and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people would hire you for that. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but I don't know how relevant that is. Yeah, digging up pottery and bones and all that sort of stuff. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, Cowley Road, I know where that is. There was also one of the grape gangs down there. One of the Pakistani grape gangs, wasn't there a while ago? We had our one down the Cowley Road, yeah. So pimping kids, that's another thing that, yeah. How many Turkish barbers are down there as well? But yeah, I know where Headington and Cowley Road and everything is. So yeah, you could and imagine you've got lots of Turkish barbers down there as well and everything else. It wasn't it the graveyard near Cowley Road where a woman got raped in the graveyard. I'm gonna look this up. Hang on. I'm sure it was. Oh, I've said words I can't say now on stream. Hold on. Cowley Road graveyard or churchyard rape. A high-profile churchyard rape case in Oxford involved the assault of a 20-year-old woman in the grounds of St Clement's Church off Marston Road in November 2023. The offender, 46-year-old Khaliz Ali Al-Shamari. Oh. So let's just see. It says St Clement's Church, not the Cowley Road. Let me just see how close it is to the Cowley Road. So I bet this is where the AI is like, oh, it didn't happen on the Cowley Road, and it's the road next door. So Headington Road, Headley Way. Oh yeah, it is basically right fucking by Cowley Road, isn't it? It's on St. Clements Street that goes off to the side. Yeah, so it was Cowley Road. It was that district. Yeah, exactly. Coming over here, taking our jobs. Fair enough, Rowboat Grenade. But yeah, in the UK, Turkish barbers are a meme because it's one of the tax evasion things, you know, like for cooking the books. Not tax evasion, money laundering. Turkish barbers, vape shops, nail bars, I think is one of the others, American candy stores. Oh, thank you very much as well, Dust. I really appreciate that. Cheers. I've had ages on these streams where I've not had really anyone donate or give me like £2. And now I've had 2 donations on one stream. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But yeah, traditional Anglo names, you're right. Oh, sorry, saying apparently it was the thing in the RAF too. Yeah, that was the thing. They literally turned down like white people that were qualified, didn't they? Because they're like, oh, we need to find these people that are never going to apply for a job. I mean, don't forget, we've also had all the fun of Jason Arday recently, Nelson Scamdella, the guy who was like, I can't do everything, and I was not able to talk until I was 11, and I couldn't read till I was 18, and now I am the professor of woke diversity, and I have done all these amazing things, and Cambridge give me the top tier job. I am not able to I made everything up. Oh shit. And now I've been fired, and they are trying to claw back their money, so I am going to off myself. And then even after I am dead, all of this stuff is not ending, because with my funeral, my family is like, oh no, we need £200,000 for my funeral on the GoFundMe, and we'll just keep putting up the money because there's all the people like, oh my god, you poor thing. I was wondering though if he was going to do the thing like Jesus, and then because with all of his spurious claims, I was wondering if he was just going to resurrect himself. Because that does sound like something he'd do, doesn't it? Of like, oh, I am so amazing, I came back to life in less time than Jesus. I could imagine. Like I said, in all honesty, I don't think when people have mental health problems and they off themselves, I don't think that's funny at all, right? But what I find funny about all this, or I should say, where I think most of the blame should go for this, is to Cambridge for doing all of this. Here's a guy that's a fucking fantasist. Let's indulge his mental illness because he ticks all of our diversity boxes. Was this resignation letter plagiarized? Fucking hell, I'm going to have to look this up. Arday resignation statement. Jason Arday's resignation letter, AI written detection tool suggests. Oh my god! Fucking guy. Yeah, Nelson Scamdella. There was a load of other funny ones for him as well. I can't remember what they were now. But yeah, but that apparently as well, there were black women that applied for some of the same things as him that were more qualified. And they didn't let the black women have the jobs because they'd rather him have them. Yeah, the Cambridge guy, Nelson Scamdella, yeah. Jason Arday, who literally accomplished everything. He did TV shows before he was born. He ran like 1 million miles in 6 days, whatever it was, 6 marathons or 12 marathons in 6 days, whatever he said. Couldn't read till he was 11. Couldn't talk till he was 11. Couldn't read till he was 18. Also installed water pumps in the third world, and then that was a lie as well. I mean, he is literally like, so he's like the Walter Mitty of the education world. There's a really good downfall version of that where like Hitler's meant to be like the head of Cambridge University, and it's like the Steiner, Steiner's attacks failed. Yeah. And they've got that bit, and it's when they're reading about all the Jason Arday stuff. Anybody who thought he should have been, who should not have been appointed for the role, leave the room. And it's like Crips Yodel for staying in the room. Again, that's the only thing is, if I spoke good German, I imagine that's the frustrating thing with Downfall, like parodies. You can't enjoy them because you know exactly what's being said. Because again, I have that problem with some of the bits, like whenever he's saying about Stalin, you can always hear the name Stalin. You know, and I do know, obviously, the bit is about Steiner's counterattacks failed or whatever. But I still find the Downfall memes quite funny of, like, just Hitler going off on a rant where he's being told some other random bit of news. But yeah. Oh, you never heard of Jason Arday, Saint? You never heard of Jason Arday? He's been in all the news recently. Hang on, let me get you a picture of him up. We was professors. So it's this guy. Didn't hear him? Didn't hear about him? I'm going to read out his claims. Even one of my mates, who is quite woke, was fucking laughing at this guy. Not when he killed himself, but laughing at, like, the sheer amount of bullshit he was spouting. Yeah. Like I said, that's the only problem with stuff like that. It'd be like if there's an English thing where people have fake subtitled the English thing. I'd find it hard to not hear what they're saying, you know, I have to have it on mute, and then that wouldn't be funny. I suppose with auto dubbing though, you could just watch a different dub of Downfall with the subtitles on, couldn't you? If you wanted to, like you could have it dubbed in Spanish or something, or Dutch, because that's a made up language, Dutch. I know it's not, and I have lots of Dutch viewers. They're very nice, but Dutch is to English like somebody speaking German and speaking bad German, and it's the same thing with Germans where it sounds like they're speaking English wrong. Because yeah, it's just like the words in Dutch are like, the train is stalky walky, oh no. Let's all of Jason Arday's. I'll put Jason Arday's best lies. Oh, and the media was saying recently that it was the right wing press that lynched him. I might just ask an AI to summarize his lie. So ChatGPT, because my other AI, my uncensored AI won't be up to date and know who he is. What were Jason Arday's biggest lies and exaggerations? Yeah, and don't forget, even The Guardian piled in on Arday by the end. I think that's in like the Hitler rant parody of it, that they're like, even The Guardian is reporting on it. Because this involved claims about a living person. No, it doesn't, ChatGPT. He's dead now. Don't you be arse, Grok. I bet Grok won't give as much of a shit about this. Like I said, my Chinese AI would be good for this, but sadly it won't have Jason Arday on there because it's not that up to date. Something like that. He said he ran something like 6 or 12 marathons in 6 weeks or 6 days or something. Like I said, I can't remember how many of them are even more exaggerated than what he said. Okay, so we'll read Grok's things. So, okay, childhood disabilities and development. Arday repeatedly claimed a diagnosis of autism and global development delay. I mean, I have the Spurgs, and I haven't lied. I don't lie like him. That doctors said he might never walk, talk, read, and was no better than a vegetable. It should be funny if it's funny. I was no better than a vegetable, and now I am Professor of Cambridge. Look how great I am. And everybody clapped, yeah. That he was non-verbal mute until age 11, and he only learned to read and write at 18. Schoolmates, neighbours, and others who knew him as a child described a chatty, joking class clown who spoke normally and played football. He left secondary school at 16 with GCSEs. These accounts directly contradict the extreme developmental claims. So, extreme athletic achievements. He claimed feats including running 30 marathons in 35 days, including after an epileptic fit and with a fractured broken leg on later ones, running 600 miles Edinburgh to London in 6 days, later revised in one account to 12 days of rest. Oh no, that people don't believe it. I'll say it was 12 days, not 6 days. Other ultra distances such as 300 miles in 3 days. These would rank among elite world record level ultra endurance performances. No supporting race records, results, or recognition in the ultra running community have been found. Charity fundraising totals. Arde claimed to have raised 4.5 million to 5.5 million pounds or more for dozens of charities, often linked to the running challenges, with figures escalating over time in speeches, bios, and interviews. Investigations found evidence of far smaller individual raises, low thousands on public pages. When pressed, he said he was part of a larger collective or syndicate of 100 people with non-disclosure agreements, and that media focused on him. Publisher Simon & Schuster scrubbed or softened related financial details from his memoir, bio, and text. Other major biographical and professional claims. TV appearance. Claimed participation in the 7 Up documentary series. The original series began in 1964, decades before his 1985 birth. The BBC stated he had nothing to do with the films. Visiting honorary professorships. Claimed roles at institutions including Nelson Mandela University, like I said, he's Nelson Scandella, Ohio State University, University of Glasgow, and others. Several of those were denied by the universities. Book publications. Claimed authorship of being young, black, and male, challenging the dominant discourse. It was never published. A proposal was accepted, but the book did not proceed. Threats and racial harassment. Claims a severed pig's head was delivered to his parents' home, with police tracing it to a specific butcher who sold a whole pig that morning. Plus bananas, bullets in the post. A masked, knife-wielding man confronting him twice at the faculty building, and other incidents. Police stated categorically that no such investigation occurred. The butcher had no recollection. No supporting evidence, such as CCTV, has ever been produced. Medical history inconsistencies. Accounts varied. 2 brain tumors in the published memoir versus testicular cancer in the earlier book proposal. Claims of a lengthy childhood coma and a car accident that did not appear consistent. Other claims of installing water points in South America and West Africa. WaterAid stated it did not send or facilitate such volunteer trips in that manner. Semi-professional football, early pro snooker involvement, and a large memoir advance figure. And this is before you go into him stealing other people's work for his PhD. Depends. There's a lot of We Was Kings guys. I mean, that's a meme, the We Was Kings thing. But he was literally a guy that kept saying about institutional racism despite being a con man who got away with all this stuff. He couldn't handle the truth. For some reason, I was actually thinking of Jack Nicholson while reading that out, but like the 1989 Batman Joker. You know, I don't know why, I was just sort of thinking of Jack Nicholson's Joker reading some of that stuff out. Never rob another man's rhubarb. I like Dad's Army, but the actual Home Guard's very different than Dad's Army. Got the manual on my desk. Like I said, that I'm, surprised you can legally buy in the UK, because it's like the Anarchist Cookbook, but good, because it's all about, guerrilla warfare, building booby traps and stuff like that. All right, I'm Legoshi. Yeah, it's a good book, isn't it, this? Like I said, because it's just literally all about, improvised kind of... Because, again, that's the funny thing of the Home Guard. It's like Dad's Army make them look to be quite comedic and incompetent. But the actual Home Guard was, like, a lot of World War I veterans that were probably fucking psychopaths, stuff like that. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is, like, the actual Home Guard, as much as, like, people are like, oh, they trained with broom handles because there weren't enough guns. It's like, no, they were a proper, like... They were going to be like fucking suicidal to the Japanese level in the invasion of a homeland. Yeah, there's another gas mask video coming out in about 2 days, I think it is, as well. Like I said, because I'm not really doing shorts anymore. I'm going to put shorts now and again on TikTok. I did one the other day on TikTok. But yeah, for the most part, at the moment, like I said, I'm just not doing shorts now because YouTube's done that stupid decision with shorts of oh, as of February, you need to get so many views on shorts that nearly every channel won't ever get, that will completely take all the money from your shorts. Yeah, sorry, I'm hiccuping a bit, but oh yeah, yeah, updated 28 days later video. I might do one on Left 4 Dead and other things. Well, like I said, with 28 days later, I don't know if there's much more that I could do that's better than that video. But like I said, with some of the stuff like that, I could certainly do other apocalypse scenarios. Like I said, with some of those though, you have to hope that there is a video though. Tomorrow's video is a bit like that. Saint that Khalid asked me to do, which is what would I do if I was the Invisible Man. And I'm doing both the H.G. Wells style Invisible Man and an episode of The Twilight Zone. Yeah. The thing is, Operation Sea Lion, I actually really want there to be a film or game about Operation Sea Lion. Because again, it would have gone so badly wrong for Germany because of the sense that, like, so you have to first assume, right, that they won the Battle of Britain and that they had air dominance. Then they had to defeat the Royal Navy, which wasn't going to happen. And then you have to assume that even if they got past all that, they could land troops at any, like, you know, good volume of numbers to facilitate a ground operation. And what's crazy about Sea Lion is all of the fucked up British plans of, like, what we're going to do if Germany lands. Like, where it was all the stuff of start dumping anthrax from bombers onto Germany. You know, where Churchill wanted the channel to be filled with oil and then set alight, like that bit out of Game of Thrones. There was also all the stuff, wasn't there, where they were like going to spray chemical weapons over British stuff as well, because of the fact of, like, well, if Germany takes it, destroy it, then scorched earth. So, like I said, I'd like a, like, alternative universe sort of history thing that's like a properly done thing about Sea Lion if it took place, because of just how fucking crazy it would have been in terms of, you know, like, where it would have been that scorched earth kind of thing of, like, if you lose the territory, we're going to just destroy it anyway. Yeah. All right, all right. I wasn't, after I done a scout, so that wasn't very good. I might do a video on Operation Sea Lion, just in the sense of, you know, like, what the actual stuff was planned on it. I've tested the MF-14. I did a video where I tested the MF-14 not very long ago, and not barely anyone watched it. There's also all of those, like, again, like, where there was that fire recently, the wildfire near that RSPB place, there's still loads of World War II tank defences there they put on the beach and never bothered clearing up. So, there's literally, like, if you go to some places in the beaches in Britain, although they've taken all the razor wire down and barbed wire, there's still, like, massive anti-tank blocks on the beaches. And like I said, then you had all the places with, like, the pillboxes hidden as other things and whatever else. The older you go back, YouTube is better. 2005 YouTube was the best. Well, probably a few years after 2005, when it had a bit more investment, you know, had a bit of a better UI, but it hadn't got to the stage yet where it was such a, like, big cash grab thing. Yeah, so, oh, yeah, they think that you're on about a modern refugee version of Operation Sea Lion, and then they wouldn't like that at all, would they? What would you do against invading hordes landing on the beaches? Oh, you're in trouble for saying that. Oh no, yeah. Because, like I said, I wouldn't be, what would I do in Operation Sea Lion, but I would do a video on the history of Sea Lion, because it is very fascinating, like I said, because a lot of people don't seem to know of, like I said, about, you know, if Germany did land in Britain, just how fucking crazy it'd have gone. Yeah. I think to deal with the boats coming over the channel, we should flood it with oil and set it on fire, like Winston Churchill suggested, and then dump mustard gas on them. And then, like, see how quickly I get done for, like, a 30-year hate crime for that sort of suggestion, yeah. And obviously I was joking there for any of the glowies watching me. I don't think we should do that to the refugees. Like I said, my plan would be put them into a camp they're not allowed out of, and then most of the ones that are chancers will get bored of all their paperwork being processed and begging to be just sent back to wherever the fuck they came from. Yeah, hang on. Now I've got the night vision turned off. Let me turn... Oh, no, I've turned the ceiling light off, haven't I? Oh, it's literally right there. There you go, MF14, that one. Yeah, we with the oil prices at the moment, we couldn't afford to flood the channel with oil, could we? No. No, it cost too much money. Couldn't do it. And then all the people like Greta be, how dare you! You've put the oil in the water and killed all the fish and the birds. How dare you! You've ruined my childhood. Yeah, no, we wouldn't be able to get away with that now, sadly. Like I said, there's that picture I really like. Do I have it downloaded on Linux, or was it just... Let me have a look. Or was it on my old Windows PC I had it downloaded? Of the fucking, like, crazy British guy. I'm just going to look for all these pictures and see if I have it. Again, it's... But it's the one of the guy where it was like some psycho World War I veteran that they've then, you know, like, it's like where he's like looking forward to being able to use his bayonet again. And it's like, yeah, this is the type of guy we were like, yeah, let's arm these guys to the teeth. And I've gone all through my pictures, not my... Never mind, then I don't know where I saved it then. If it's not in my pictures. Maybe it's not on this PC. Maybe it's somewhere else. Yeah, place to wash their feet and soak the swans before cooking them. Yeah, you can't eat swans. They're royally protected birds, even if I don't like them. I've been bitten by a swan before. Didn't break my arm, but it fucking hurt. When I was like a little kid, it just came up when I was feeding the ducks. I went, wham! All right, well, don't mention about the aluminium dust. YouTube might not like it. No, Greta doesn't protest in China. I think Greta now's got bored of protesting stuff, hasn't she? And she now, wow, she now talks about Palestine a lot, I think. Again, I don't really follow Greta at all, to be honest. I just sort of, you know, mute her out. In the UK, there's no limits on the type of body armor you're allowed until the government decides that there is. But no, you can buy level 4 plates in the UK, even though they're very expensive. You can have any of the kinds of soft armor, riot armor, whatever. So although I've got a level 4 ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plate, in my actual body armor that has the plate pockets in them, I've got 2 of the big rectangle plates that are better than level 3s, but they're not proper level 4 plates. As in, like, you know, like they're rated for higher threats than what level 3 NIJ plates are rated against, but they don't meet all the criteria for level 4, so they can't call them level 4. They're like ex-police ones for the armed police. So it is rated against 30-06 ball ammo at like certain powers and like certain 7.62 NATO rounds. So they're pretty chunky plates. So I've got ceramic ones, because like I said, on eBay now and again, you do get the ex-police ceramic plates that are in pretty good condition being sold off quite cheap, because they have to sell them off after a certain amount of time. So yeah, at the moment in the UK, you can buy stuff like that, no issue whatsoever. But like I said, the problem is that, like I said, you probably only need one high-profile incident and the government will decide to ban them. Yeah, it's kind of like the M95. Like I said, they just look like this. It's a big panoramic lens. They do have a voice diaphragm in as well, so that's pretty good. The modern ones are 40mm NATO, not GOST. No luck catching in killers then. It's just a 1 killer, actually. Mr. P.I. Staker, piss taker. But yeah. MF14s, like I said, I think out of the Chinese masks, they're one of the very good budget ones, as in, I'm pretty sure they're butyl, not like silicon. So they're quite a good chemically resistant rubber. It's a very big panoramic phase piece on it. It has a voice diaphragm in, even if it's not brilliant. You know, it's better than not having a voice diaphragm. Yeah, I didn't get the last one, Saint. There were more after that, but I didn't say about them. So probably, you know, until after. So it took me a while when I got mine to even realise I had the plate pockets in it. Because I was originally going to have that as just another soft armour, which I could put Molly stuff on. But like I said, the thing is ideally you do want one like the Hawk, which is like soft armour with plate pockets. I think that's the best way of doing armour, rather than having like just the plate carriers where you don't get the soft armour or vice versa. Oh, you mean, yeah, the Scott M9, sorry, I'm thinking of the M98. Yeah, the so let me Google it then. So Yashka Protect store. Okay, let me get up. So yeah, Scott M95 or Scott M110, I think is the other name for that one. AliExpress.ru. I don't mind going on the .ru one. Why is it going to .ru and it's in Cyrillic? The store does not have any products in stock that can be delivered to your region. Okay then. Is there something else I can search? Let me search the description for it. We were on about war crimes, Kevin, and other stuff. So if I copy and paste that thing where you put MF14 gas mask, new irritating mask, gas mask, and you click that one. If I put that into Google, oh, the one you're looking at is, it says MF14. That's not an MF14. That's an FMJ05. MF14 is the panoramic one. The FMJ05 is the one you're looking at. That's the Chinese one that came out before the FMJ08, which is their S10 ripoff. So yeah, the one that listing is incorrectly calling an MF14 is the FMJ05, which is like the two eyepieces, the circular voice diaphragm bit there. That's an okay mask, but with that one again, it depends on which setup you get for it. Because some of them have better straps than others, depending on which factory made them. You know, some of them have quite good elasticated straps, others have got quite shitty straps. But FMJ05s are okay. They're like, you know, one of those not great, not terrible masks. The FMJ08 is better, and that's just an S10 clone. Yeah, so it's the FMJ05, I'm pretty certain you found. If you Google FMJ05 gas mask, is that the one coming up, basically? The triangular eyepieces and the circular, like, dotted voice diaphragm cover at the front. But I'm pretty certain that it's somebody calling an FMJ05 an MF14. Because I think I've seen them on AliExpress do that, but no. MF14s are definitely this thing. FMJ05s are going to be like another name for them. Yeah, like I said, the helmets are the way to go with night vision, Saint, because if you get a good helmet that's comfortable and then have the Rhino mount on it, you know, it's less annoying than the Skull Crusher. But yeah, like I said, when I've used night vision, I've mostly just done a thing. Just check this is fully off first. Yeah, this is fully powered off. Like I said, what I tend to do in night vision units is just, unless I'm head mounting it, I normally just keep them in like a pocket or a satchel, get them out to look at stuff, put it back in the satchel. And that way, if they're inside a satchel, bright light isn't going to hit them if it's still powered on or whatever. So that's what I do anyway. Yeah, that's what I was on about. It's an S10 copy. I've done videos on it. It's an S10 copy because the S10 lenses actually fit on it. The Chinese directly copy the S10's lenses to the point the outserts will fit on it as well. Same thing that they do with the Czech M90. They will literally clip onto them because they're a one-to-one copy. Also, they one-to-one copied the Avon drinking tube on the FMJ08. So with the FMJ08, you can drink from Avon canteens. Yeah, also, what you can get, Kevin, that I said to him about, is you can get those, things. You can get those straps that you can basically fit to any helmet. Because I did it for a laugh with a couple of my like retro old steel pots. I'm trying to think what they're called, but it's like where you get a rhino mount, and then it's like kind of like an elasticated thing that clamps on, you know, and then you pull it tight to the helmet size. But essentially, it's like a metal buckle that goes at the back, a rhino mount at the front, and then it's got a clamp. And like, because the British Army used to use those before they actually had helmets with the rhino mounts on, like where you just retrofitted old helmets using them. But like I said, that's what I did with a couple of my helmets. But yeah, obviously, with some helmets, the more comfortable helmets they are, the better they are with night vision, because you can obviously get it to, you know, wear it, because you don't want to do it on a helmet, which is like really uncomfortable to begin with. But yeah, like Kevin's saying, if you just wanted to do it with, you could also probably just buy a shitty airsoft helmet, couldn't you, if you just wanted to not offer any protection. So let's have a look on AliExpress. So let's look airsoft helmet. Yeah, there's a 22-pound airsoft helmet here, Saint, that has the Rhino mount on it, NVG mount base. There we go. For some reason, it's in the back to school savings. Is this for American schools? Why are they advertising fucking helmets in the back to school range? Too small for my husband, should work for my sons. Okay, I think this is a kid's one, that's probably why. You need to have the helmet for the active shooter scenario. I'll put airsoft helmet adult in so it doesn't show me the ones for kids. Here you go. You can get the ones that the Mobics get, being told they're real helmets. Here's an affiliate link to it. There you go, Saint. If you want one from China for less than £10 a look, £9.60 in the back to school super deals. It's got good reviews, this one. Again, don't use it for anything real like the Mobics do. It's not an actual combat helmet, but there's a picture of like an adult wearing one in one of the pictures. So yeah, you could also just do that. Like I said, buy a Chinese airsoft helmet, and that's, like I said, most of them now have the Rhino mounts as standard. Well, I don't think it's even cardboard in it, Kevin. It's just like hollow plastic, isn't it? Because there's a video of a Ukrainian punching one of them. Own the school year like a hero. Yeah, bit of an American thing there, I think. Most countries don't do those kind of school celebrations. Yeah, it's just kind of funny though, isn't it? That, like I said, I know that's what like everything like Amazon does it as well, where if they have a sale on, they jack up the prices, so then the sale prices are like the normal prices. But it's just like, this is not back to school gear, but the Chinese are like, oh, back to school for American. Oh, I won't do the racist voice. You know, you need body armor for your school, or you'll die. Yeah, surprised Militech, because they're actually quite a good Chinese brand. Hasn't done back. Actually, are they doing that? Militech official store, because like I said, Militech actually do the proper shit. I've got a Militech helmet somewhere. They are really good. But like I said, Militech is, because they also do Militech also do like the proper SAPI plates and everything as well. They're one of like the Chinese brands that when Americans test them, they always work really well. Why is there a thing shit that when I clicked on the helmet, it didn't take me to that helmet? Products, bulletproof helmets. Let's just do that. Oh, Militech's not got any helmets in stock anymore. I was just going to see if it said back to school on them actual ballistic helmets. Yeah, I've got a Cobra bolt skin or whatever. When I got mine, I think it might have been liberated or fell off the back of a truck, if you like, from a warehouse. Because of how new the condition it was in when I got mine. But like I said, yeah, the British Army, like, if you actually want to spend a load of money on the helmet, I just get the current British Army one, because you can get those for pretty good prices, and they're ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. So they are, and they've got the really nice tightening system at the back. They work like a bike helmet tightening system, where you like tighten or, clockwise or counterclockwise, do a screw at the back of the helmet, and it makes the entire liner shrink down or expand. So it's very quick to, readjust to other people's heads. Don't think I've ever bought anything from them saying. I'm trying to remember what the shitty place was though that sold me a fucking, which was meant to be a 1-to-1 replica of the British Army canteen, but the fucking drinking tube adapter on it was like glued in. It was a fake thing. So I was like, this isn't a 1-to-1 canteen, is it? Because you can't use it with the fucking CBRN equipment. Like, I don't know if it was Combat UK or somewhere else, but it was like, I was like, don't sell stuff like that if it, saying, oh, this is a replica thing when it clearly isn't. One of those sort of things of, oh yeah, we've got these replica canteens that are complete 1-to-1 to the original. It's just they're new and not secondhand. Oh, but no, it doesn't actually have the drinking tube port on the top. It's just like, oh, and it had a really shitty cap as well that would leak. 3D printing's the only thing I can think of, Spadge. Because, like I said, unless you wanted to get a hard bit of foam and cut them out with that for airsoft or something. But like I said, the problem with the Osprey plates is they're a weird size. They're not like normal SAPI plates. I wouldn't even know what the dimensions are. Oh, you fucked up your AR grip. That's annoying. But yeah, that's the only thing, Smadge, I could really recommend. Because like I said, that's why I've said to people before that I wouldn't recommend trying to set up an Osprey vest properly with the plates and all that, because they take weird, both with the Kevlar filler and the plates. Like, the plates aren't a normal size, and the Kevlar filler's one of those weird ones where I think it's like one big bit that goes over both bits of the armor that, you have to squeeze through points. So it's not like where you can just buy a front and back police-style soft Kevlar panel and have it fit properly. You could fit it well enough, I suppose, but it's one of those things of, yeah, I don't like it. I like visually the armor and that, and I think the soldiers liked it, but it's just a case of, I don't like the fact that you can't just put generic SAPI plates in it or whatever. It won't work. Yeah, I've got enough machetes. Although saying that, it's a Cold Steel do still do machetes in the UK. What do you mean cheap machetes? We'll close the things about Jason Are they? I don't want to read about him anymore. Oh, you said cheap machetes, didn't you? Cold Steel UK. Cold Steel the Hedgehog. Okay, so it's coming up with some like weird. Okay, that's not what I was after. Cold Steel the Hedgehog. Cold Steel UK. Oh, does Cold Steel UK still exist? Oh yeah, but they're called blades.co.uk now. Cold Steel UK is closing. Cold Steel UK storefront is shutting down. You can keep shopping here. Machete. No, they don't sell machetes. Oh. But yeah, like I said, it's a shame. I think, sadly, places aren't selling machetes in the UK anymore because of the doctors and engineers. I think that's why we're not allowed them anymore. Like, they're not technically banned, but nowhere wants to sell them because they get bad PR because the doctors and engineers buy the machetes, and then they do doctor and engineering things with those machetes, and then, the thing happens. They, are like, wow, we got bad press because we sold these machetes, and then the doctor went into a dance class with it and did surgery on some children. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. The doctors needed all of them for operations, so now people are like, We only exclusively sell to doctors and engineers now. Don't want right-wing thugs buying them. So, yeah. I wonder if you can buy them on UK Amazon machetes. Let's have a look. I know, because I know there's been loads of hit pieces on Amazon in the UK for selling, like, kitchen knives. Machete. £23 machete on Amazon. One without an edge on it. Not an edge. It's got an edge, but without a tip, like Sape was saying about. Where... Oh, foam machete. I don't want a foam one. But yeah, they do have a £23 machete on Amazon. Machete UK. Heine Haynes sells machetes apparently, but I don't know if they're just expensive ones. Yeah, they're quite expensive on there. Cold steel Gurkha machete, £569.99 for a cold steel machete. I think you're having a giraffe, mate. Why would I pay that for a cold steel machete when their swords cost us that? But yeah, you're right. Most machetes now are a lot more expensive than they used to be. I assume that's so doctors and engineers can't afford them. I'm just trying to see if there's any sites that government bans machetes and zombie knives. Hang on. The government has introduced a new ban on zombie-style knives and machetes. Oh, it's probably saying zombie knife-style machetes as opposed to just machetes. Amazon has a gardening machete section, but half the stuff on it isn't machetes. There's still bill hooks on there. You can still get a bill hook. Bill hooks are better than machetes anyway. Anglo machete. No, £23 is in pounds sterling, the currency the UK uses. So like about $30, maybe $27, $28 sort of price, roughly, if like, the exchange rates haven't completely gone, funny since last time I looked. But yeah, we don't have blades and bows anymore, which is where I used to get a load of machetes from. Just trying to think if there's anywhere in the UK that might do machetes. The hardware stores do them, like Screwfix machetes, garden machete, Screwfix community forum. People on there, no, you don't need to get a machete. You just need to get an electric strimmer. Oh. I'm trying to remember. They're expensive, but what the brand is, that there's a brand of like actual kukris made in Nepal that one of my friends has got. No, saying like when you ask Mike, not heard anything new about it. I'll have a quick Google now, but I'm hoping Bumham might forget about crossbows because they're too busy banning assault water hoses and assault barbecues. Right, I'm going to sort by news and then sort by date. There's one from 2 days ago, but it's just a repeat of an old headline. No, the only things I can see are where it's like news sites having a slow news day, so they're just like reviving articles from ages ago. But no, there's no update on it saying basically. Hopefully they've got bored of it. Oh, they'll say that a regular bow is a crossbow component because you technically, a crossbow has a prod. That's like a bow. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Ghost guns and zombie knives. But sadly, this is how you live in modern day Britain. Yeah, again, you can use machetes for proper gardening stuff. Let me just have a look. Nepalese made kukris. I want to see if that's like Kukri House UK Depot. Okay, and I don't know what the place was. Discounts offers. I mean, these look pretty nice. They're in US dollars, but they're... I assume that you could... Because, again, the kukris are legal in the UK. So if you search up the Kukri House, offers original Gurkha kukri knives for sale at discounted prices for slightly damaged or second-hand ones. These come with little sharpening knives, like my mate's one did. But again, I don't know if it was this place, but it was one where they used to make them out of, like, they recycled spring steel from trucks. And I was saying kukris are nice. That's like a machete. Again, if you're going to spend a bit of money, you might as well get a proper Nepalese one. Old reproductions, for example. Yeah, they do ones like 150 quid that are pretty nice. But yeah. Yeah, 2-hour stream because people gave me donations and we were talking about interesting subjects. I carried on just waffling on. Yeah, exactly. Buy once, cry once. Yeah, especially when it's something that you actually want, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, there's times when, like, I'm not particularly sure, like, how much I want to spend. And again, I've had times where I've actually spent decent money on something only for, like, the brands to have been shitified and their products to be crap. Because, you know, that's suddenly happened with a lot of brands, hasn't it, over the years that used to be known for making really good products. And then you buy something and their new stuff is basically just Chinesey and rebranded. So it's like, oh, great, I wasted a load of money on this. But yeah, like I said, with the actual Gurkha style kukri ones, they're quite nice because, like I said, made in Nepal. You know, you can say it's your religious knife if you get asked about it because claim you're actually a Gurkha and it's your religious knife or something. I know it's not their religious knife, but you know what I mean. It's because I worship the religion of the British Army and the Gurkhas had kukris and they chop people up with them, so I think I should be allowed one. Especially with stuff like compasses and that. So here we go. Kevin's going to call me the Kamenga shill again. But it's like with a compass. If you get either these or the really good British Army style compasses, these are just way better than like the modern little plastic flat ones. Again, I know, like I said, again, you can buy cheap compasses, but every time I bought a cheap compass, I found something annoying with them. Especially because, like I said, it's like, yeah. Like I said, the Kamenga ones are good. This has tritium in, so like I said, don't know if you can be able to see that there well enough, but glowing tritium. All hail the tritium. Tritium, tritium. You can see it in the dark. Tritium. Spotting one has 2 bits of tritium on. This phone camera isn't actually good enough to see the tritium that well. But you can see it's definitely there. Look, tritium. I wish, Kevin, I wish Big Kamenga would sponsor me. Because like I said, I genuinely like this compass. Like I said in the video about it, the thing with Kamenga compasses is that they, well, again, I don't think Kamenga even fucking designed this thing anyway. It's just that they're the only ones that make the M1950 compass to any good standards anymore. Rather than it being that, you know, like, oh, it's just companies that have taken the overall, like, shape and design and made out of cheap plastic and whatever. Because, like I said, technically, the Francis Barker compass, whatever it's called, is technically better than this, but they're like 3 times the price, and you need a protractor to use them. Whereas this one is like I said, it's got the base plate built onto the compass for, like, you know, using as a protractor and whatever. So, yeah, like I said, Big Kamenga ought to sponsor me because, like I said, the thing is, I wouldn't mind like sponsorships, like I've said before, if they were actually products that I would use and I think are genuinely good, and then I'm not lying about, oh, isn't this a great product when I think it's shit? Yeah, because again, like I said, but that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's like the M1950. They were probably originally radium painted, then it swapped to tritium later on. And Brown Streak says Rothko as well. Yeah. Oh, that's similar to in the UK. That's what happens in the UK with the Sikh guy that killed Henry Novak. Although the knife he used wasn't actually a Sikh knife. He tried to bullshit people it was. But yeah, I think everybody should carry knives, or nobody should carry knives. I don't think you should be allowed to do the thing of, my religion says I can carry a knife. Yeah, like I said, again, sadly, I think with Silver and Sunto, with both of those, is apparently they're both companies, because I've got quite a new Silver compass that's similar to the Kamenga one. It's not exactly a military one, but it's a Lensatic style one, you know, with the flip up like sight line thing and everything. But apparently with both Sunto and Silver, they've both had the problem that their quality control now is nowhere near as good as they used to be, you know, like where the old Sunto one lasted years and years and years. Apparently, like, the newer ones are much more fragile and stuff. Are the auto seers intact? I don't actually know. I really don't know if they are or not, Mondiali. But yeah, like I said, but UK regular people like the felon things in a lot of states, so we can have the black powder stuff, but not the Which ones are Japanese Higonokami knives? Let me look them up. Japanese Higonokami knife. Very honourable. All right, so it's just a little folding, like, straight razor looking thing. Yeah, it looks quite interesting. I did find it funny, you know, when I did a video on that was, what was it on? The gardening tool thing that was like a Warhammer thing. Trying to remember what it was called now. Let me look it up again. I can look up my video of it and then see what it was, but this is a gardening tool. It was like a war axey thing, wasn't it? Yeah, it's that mattock, that was it, where it's like a proper axe end and a proper spike end. Yeah, especially some of the old spec ones. That's why they sadly don't do old spec anymore, isn't it? Because you didn't have to do potentially much work to them. Well, I'd hope so, that they're after him, because like I said, he's a bit of a scummy guy, and it seemed like he had a bit of a scummy family on the way they acted. But sorry, what you saying, Kevin, with a lock or whatever? Oh, sorry about the knives. I thought you were on about the Kamenga compass then, because I'm saying that basically is a lock. And then it's when you've got it open, you can put your thumb through it, can't you, like that, to let's get the lanyard out of the way. I think you do that, don't you, with your thumb? Like, you can then have your thumb through it like that when you've got the compass open. Yeah, I think that's the idea of that, isn't it? It's like a little thumb holder thing, so you can go with your little lens. I'm looking at 42 mils, almost 240 degrees, looking at the phone. Tomorrow's Friday. I should be streaming Friday. I might not be streaming Saturday, or if I stream Saturday, it'll be quite early, because some of my mates want to go out for a drink and maybe like some food or whatever Saturday night. So I'll probably join them for that. And what's quite nice is one of the people I used to work with asked if he could come out and see me, because he hasn't seen me since I left my job. And I said, of course, you know, I haven't got any bad feelings towards any of the nice people I used to work with, just fucking management. So, yeah. Yeah. Dick Wad got face-to-face calls with his mum, yeah. East German Collector said, storing. The leather ones, I'm trying to think what's a good leather preservative. Can you use silicone lubricant to preserve leather. So you can on certain types of rubber, but I don't know if that preserves leather. No, you should not use silicone lubricant to preserve leather. It can create a quick water-resistant barrier on the surface. It doesn't conduct them. So you want to get some sort of proper leather preserver thing, I imagine. Don't store them in direct UV sunlight, East German collector. That would be a good start. You know, store them somewhere where they're not going to, like the gas mask, get hit by UV off and on every day as the sun goes past the window and like heat up and cool down every day. But you probably just want some good sort of shoe kind of polishy leather protector thing for them. But yeah, anyway, massive thank you to the 2 people that donated today. I do appreciate that. If it still lets me read your names out. Fan funding. So yeah, Ibuki Enjoyer, thank you for the $20. And Dust1, thank you for the $20. I really appreciate that. Because like I said, that's basically... Oh, Brad, I've been on 2 hours and 5 minutes. Right, there's nothing personal, Brad. I was literally going off. And I have been on 2 hours and 5 minutes. So it's not because you've come on I'm going off. It's just because I have been on longer than I was planning on being on. Again, yeah, massive thank you for the donations. I do really appreciate that. So let me tell you the order of video. You just woke up, okay. But let me tell you the order the videos are going on in the next couple of days. So tomorrow is the one that was suggested by Khaled, and it's What Would I Do as the Invisible Man? So that's tomorrow, or midnight tonight, however you want to look at it. Blue tack with glasses inside a gas mask is the day after. And the day after that is the night vision scopes, like seeing different sights, like night observation devices, how they see scopes in different sites to show, you know, the bits that work, the bits that don't work, compared to how video games show. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, have a good one, everyone. Like I said, in a bit, in probably less than an hour, clippers are coming out. Buzz, 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 buzz. Oh, Khaled, you've just come on now, and I've just said goodbye to everyone. Like I said, I've been on 2 hours and 6 minutes, Khaled, and you've just come on. I literally was just reading your name out, Khaled, because I'd said about the Invisible Man videos on tomorrow you suggested, or on tonight at midnight. But yeah, so like I said, so there's 3 videos that are proper lengths. I'm not doing shorts anymore. So all the videos that are coming out are like at least a few minutes long and proper widescreen, good quality videos. Yeah. Bronson mode. Yeah. I was trying to think of a Charles Bronson sort of, and again, not Charles Bronson, not that one. The prisoner Charles Bronson. I'm just trying to think of quotes he says in the film that aren't like slurs that I can read out on YouTube. Charles Bronson quotes legend. No, it's not legend, is it? That's the one about what's the Charles Bronson? Oh, it's just called Bronson, isn't it? Legend's the Cray one. Oh, I gave you fucking magic in there. Right, that's enough. He's had enough. Come on, get him out of here. Go on, get him the fuck out of here. He's had enough. Come on, you fucking cunts. No class next week, right? My name is Charles Bronson. All my life I wanted to be famous. I knew I was made for better things. I had a calling. I didn't know what it is. Wasn't singing. I can't fucking act. Kind of running out of choices, really, aren't we? But yeah, the Bronson film's good. Yeah, things about homos I probably can't say on YouTube. But yeah. But yeah, anyway. So thanks, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. But like I said, Saturday, if I stream, it will have to be quite early because I won't be able to stream in the evening if I'm out. And by the time I get back, I'll probably have had a bit to drink and be fucking tired. So, yeah, like I said, if I stream Saturday, it will be earlier in the day. And the next time you see me, it isn't on a video I've pre-filmed. I'll be bold as well. Cool. Yep. So, yep. See you all. So, yeah, when I live stream tomorrow, I should be bold, all being well. But like I said, that won't be the case for the videos because I've pre-filmed them. Devon soon. What, Devon in the UK or Devon? Is there a Devon in the US? But that's when my granddad was from Devon, county of Devon. He was from a farming family. Devon. Right. Anyway, see you. See you all. Goodbye. I will be off now. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.